Okay, so here we are, day number 6 of the Romford Film Festival, and we've just had 2 films play from local filmmakers within the Romford area. So fantastic young talent we have with us. Give a round of applause first of all, please. I'd like to embarrass you first of all. Can we just start here and just introduce yourself to everyone and what your role making the film was, and which film it was?
Yeah, so my name's Sam Walters. I was the writer, director and composer of Resurrection, and I helped with DOP work and pretty much a little bit of everything, really.
So I'm Adam. I'm a 17-year-old filmmaker, and I was sort of like you in a way, one-man band, filmer, cinematographer, writer and director.
Fantastic. First question, what's it like seeing your work on the big screen, Sam?
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's mad. It's amazing, especially to see all the work that not only myself but also the sort of rest of my team put into it was amazing, and to see our hard work come to fruition, and to see that everybody's talents showcased for actual the public to see before our eyes is it's a great it's humbling. It's a great honour.
Yeah, honestly, it's incredible. Like, we watched it on the TV screen when we first completed it, and just seeing it on the cinema just makes it even more real. Because we spent so long working on it, and everyone's seeing themselves on the screen. They're like, oh my god, right. So it's just it's a great experience overall. It's really great to be part of it.
Let's talk about where your inspiration for the films came from. So how did you get the idea? Want to go first, Sam?
My idea for Resurrection came from Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, the book. I adore the book so much. And I thought it would be interesting to see how you would put a very sort of modern twist on the Frankenstein story and set it in modern day with the more modern sensibilities that would come with a story like that, and make it about a sort of younger demographic, so that it can be a lot more connective and can reach a wide range of young people.
So for Dark and True, it was all on the back burner for a while, because I did last year's film Stay Over, and I always had it in the back of my mind. I was like, this would be quite cool, because I was into police and that sort of thing, and when I actually fully developed the idea, I was like, I'm going to go with it. So after Stay Over, here we are.
I've got to ask you, Adam, what's it like to direct your mum?
Oh, my mum, talk about my dad. No, it's actually, especially working, my grandma was in it, my aunt and uncle, just getting the whole family involved, literally. It's a yearly tradition at this point. It's forget Christmas or anything, we just got this. So it's honestly it's really fun. And
do you enjoy ordering them around for a change?
Yeah, making a film next year, so keep it up.
Keep up that tradition, why not? The opportunity.
Yeah, honestly, it was really fun.
Who are some of your favourite filmmakers, maybe? Was there any kind of films that you looked at, maybe, that you really enjoy? Both of you want to go first?
In terms of For Resurrection, I didn't really take inspiration from one filmmaker directly, but in terms of filmmakers that inspire me and filmmakers that I love, Steven Spielberg is an obvious one, but maybe not for the obvious choices. I love movies like Ready Player One, for example, that just have the massive, the big bombastic, the colours and the action, all of that I love. But for more, grounded things, I'm a massive fan of Chester Helston's John Wick films, and the way that they're so sleek and stylized, and the way they use colour is very interesting, and it's very shadowy and dark, which I really like. And so especially for scenes like the silhouette fight scene, I sort of took inspiration from how sleek and cool those types of films are. Those very action heavy thrillers.
Yeah, probably as a filmmaker goes, probably Tarantino was a huge inspiration. I love always his work, but also generally even though it's not a filmmaker, the franchise Mission Impossible, that really inspired me, especially when I was younger on my other shorts. Sort of I don't know, the mood, the feel of it, how it's lit, how it's shot. I just really take a lot of inspiration from that. That's why some of it you may be oh, I've seen that shot before. Sort of just took it straight out of it. But it's sort of Tarantino and the whole franchise Mission Impossible really sort of inspired me.
What was your biggest challenge making the film, or maybe even writing it? Alan, do you want to tell us first?
Yeah, sure. So probably the big challenge on set was probably filming in snow.
Yeah.
That was quite.
I thought I can imagine.
Yeah, literally 2 days straight. Because it was I don't even know when, it was a year ago or so. We only snowed for a few days. And obviously we didn't know that at the time. It was the first time it snowed in a while. So then we were we literally 4 a.m. get up, we just went straight to it.
Yeah.
It's pretty mad, but it was fun. It was a memorable experience, but one I wouldn't do again.
Look, listen now.
Yeah.
Sam, what was your biggest challenge?
I think I would say my biggest challenge is just the preparation of it, because I had my friend Mehmet, who's in the audience, is an amazing producer, help for me. But it was really tough to get the project off the ground, because we basically did it on no budget. We had no funding or anything like that, and so it was basically me begging and borrowing off of my friends, saying, "Do you want to be in this? Do you want to be in this?" And then sort of people dropping out at the last minute, and then having to fill in, and it was just more pre-production heavy problems, I would say, than any sort of problems on set. On set it was pretty okay. It was just very tight for time. We had very short times in which we could use the houses that were so graciously offered by members of my friends' families, and so we had to fit as much shooting as we can into a 3-4 hour period that we had.
How long did it take to shoot both of your films then? So do you want to go first, Adam? How long did it take? The shoot and then maybe the post as well?
The shooting, spread over a good few months. So I would say weekend here, weekday here.
Sure.
But it's also depending. We got working with a lot of actors for it. It's just trying to work around them really was quite difficult. Especially family, this and that, and all the locations. It was kind of a nightmare. But luckily we got it done in the end.
A lot of locations.
Yeah, just kept going and going and going. It didn't even start off as that many. It sort of spiraled out of control, and here we are.
Yeah. Very ambitious with the locations. Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's a whole list of them, literally.
Yeah. And Sam, yours is much more contained, but how long did it take to film your scenes?
I would say it took probably a few weeks. We'd spread the days over. Obviously, as you say, it was a lot more contained. I think the ones that took the longest were the scenes inside my friend Matt's house, who was the DOP, who was also in the audience, which were very dialogue heavy, and ones that I wanted to focus on, doing multiple takes and having those, making sure all of the, dialogue was, perfectly how I wanted. And so those were probably the longest days, but I would say it probably took around 3 weeks or so, spread over, a few weekends.
What's one thing from each of you that you sort of wish you knew at the beginning of your process? So one thing you maybe didn't know, and then you would pass on to someone else who was a similar age to you, who started out kind of filmmaking. Is there anything that comes to mind, either one of you? Do you want to go first?
I can do it, yeah. I think I kind of wish I'd known the importance of just lighting a scene in general, because a lot of our film is done with natural lighting, and you never quite realise how strong natural light is until you go to actually shoot it. And so many of the scenes in Victor's kitchen were, we had to place a load of ND filters on there, which thankfully Matt brought to the shoot, but it was something that I hadn't considered. Because I thought, the natural light's gonna, it's gonna be fine, and it's definitely not gonna be strong enough to overexpose, but Lord above it did. And so, I kind of wish that I had just known, make sure you plan your lighting out thoroughly, because otherwise you might get a situation where you are overexposed or underexposed, and then you would have to, compensate later on.
Yeah, I would say one thing is, because my previous film Stay Over, it was literally just family and friends, and this is the first film I did where I was like, I'm actually going to get other actors in. So obviously figuring out how to do the casting, and kindly my producer Lee River, he helped really a lot with that as well. So it was a lot of work to put into it, but I think it really worked out in the end. But it's just figuring out how to schedule it, how to set up the casting calls, go through the people, deal with people. Yeah, it was a challenge, but it was one good reward.
Talk about casting then. If money was no object and you had an unlimited budget, both you guys, and resources, which actor or actress would you love to cast in one of your films, or write a character for? You got anyone in mind?
How long do you have?
I feel a bit biased to say Tom Cruise because of all the Mission Impossible franchise, but someone I really like is Jamie Foxx. I feel he's quite versatile as an actor, and I feel we actually really be quite cool.
Got anyone?
Am I allowed two choices? Sort of male and female. I'm pretty biased towards Ryan Gosling because I love Blade Runner and The Nice Guys and those types of things, and I think he's amazing. And so I would love to write a very cool, calm, collected character for him. But someone that I've really come to love over the years is Angelina Jolie. Going back through her filmography, even as far back as things like Lara Croft Tomb Raider, where it's like you can have Angelina Jolie in a very over-the-top role and she can still sell it, and I feel like that's what makes her so special. So I would love to write a character for her.
Great choices. Were there any burning questions at this point? We've probably got time for one or two. Put your hand up, or I've got more.
I'll give you a question, Adam. Sorry, I seem really strangely voiced.
I was like, where's that coming from?
Yeah,
It's like next film. Yeah, exactly.
Adam, you've scaled it up. How was that transition?
It was definitely a challenge at first, but we did quite a lot of planning for it. So once we got through the planning stage, it was quite fun because obviously all the locations and everything, working with all the actors, it really was more fun than stay over because instead of just one location, this was quite a huge scope. But yeah, once we got around that stage of the preparations, being all right, how are we gonna do this on this day, that day, then it was fun. It was just a challenge at the beginning, that was it. I think I answered your question.
Okay. So wonderful. Congratulations to both of you, we should say, for making these films.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both you in their own way. Especially with the constrictions and stuff that you get with no money and being young filmmakers. Congratulate you. And thank you so much for submitting them. Can we have a round of applause again, please, for standing up?